philosophy of faith.
Good morning. Welcome to Reading the Science of Mind in 1 Year. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader at the Center for Spiritual Living Common Ground in Central Maryland. Today is July 30th. So let's get started with our reading and see what that ignites in us. Here we go.
Reading for July 30th, Science of Mind, A Philosophy of Faith, A Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. Reading from page 402, paragraph 2, through page 404, paragraph 4, using inclusive language. We track to ourselves the objective form of our subjective embodiments. Law knows how to make things out of ideas. We do not consciously know how it does this, nor do we know how corned beef and cabbage are turned into flesh and bone. But they are, and we have been so accustomed to the thought that they are, that we have implicit faith that they will continue to be. Should we doubt this phenomenon, we should be thought queer. When we believe in the law of mind in the same way, we shall be surprised at the results we shall receive. Thoughts of lack, poverty, and limitation contain within themselves the conditions necessary to produce lack, poverty, and limitation. Remember that we are not dealing with two powers, but with one, ever presenting itself in varying guises. To the pure thou wilt show thyself pure, to the froward thou wilt show thyself froward. It will become to us what we are to it. The law knows us as we first know ourselves. We make up its mind because its mind is subjective. The Spirit controls the law. This is the great mystery, the limitless wonder of the universe that, which out of nothing can make something. But its nothing is really the substance of every something. Because all people have believed in lack, a law of human thought has been made which binds the race. Limitation is the result of an ignorant use of the law. Every advance in any science proves this to be true. The real law is one of freedom. By that freedom we bind ourselves until we learn how to change the thought, and by so doing to change the limitation into freedom. The two are merely a different use of the one law. Limitation is a condensation of the thought of want. Mind accepts this idea as though it were true, and then makes it true in our experience. It is not always easy to see this, nor is it easy to rise above it, but it can be done, and we should begin at once to control our thought patterns in such a way that they will produce plenty instead of lack. The law of mind is not selective. That is, it is receptive without caring what it receives. It is creative without caring what it creates. It knows how to do without consciously knowing that it is doing or what it is doing. It seems strange that the first thing to realize is that there could be such a law in the universe. But on second thought, we find that all natural laws are of a like character. No natural law is ever selective of itself. This is why we must realize that the Spirit itself is more than any or all laws as we understand them. Conscious mind controls the law of mind. The law of mind is sensitive but not conscious from the standpoint of having any selective quality. Selectivity is the office of the conscious mind, while creativeness is the office of the inner mind. Thoughts of lack manifest as limitation. Thoughts of abundance manifest as success and happiness. Failure and success are but two ends of one stick. All conditions and every circumstance is of the nature of effects and can in no way limit mind unless we take them as a fresh starting point for a creative pattern. The thought that any given condition is a thing of itself tends to make it appear to be a thing of itself. Reverse the thought and the condition tends to become reversed. The law can know no conditions as such. It knows form but not size. Outline is real, but limitation is unreal to mind. In the absolute, nothing depends on anything but ideas. Ideas are form, condition, circumstance, cause and effect, and everything that happens between cause and effect. This is what a treatment is. It is a thing of itself if we know that it is. It is what we know it to be. Fear not, little flock. It is your Creator's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Fear is the great enemy of people, but fear is a mental attitude and as such can be converted into something else. Fear is the reverse mental attitude to faith, and it is a result of the lack of faith. Fear brings limitation and lack in its wake and destroys the happiness and possibility of a greater degree of livingness to those who suffer from it. Fear blocks the more complete givingness of the spirit to its highest form of manifestation on this planet, which is mankind. Fear arises from that mental attitude which limits the possibility and the willingness of spirit to give us the good we so greatly desire. There is nothing wrong in the desire for self-expression. Creation is more completely expressed through the one who lives largely than through the one who lives meagerly. Fear is a belief in limitation, a denial that the divine is the center and the source of all good. We must do all in our power to overcome it. Perfect love casts out fear. That is, confidence overcomes the depression of doubt. Mental depression can produce physical and financial depression. The psychology of economic cycles proves this. In the midst of plenty, humanity lives in want because of fear. To overcome fear is the greatest adventure of the mind of people.
There's a lot going on in this reading. um, I think that last sentence is amazingly powerful. To overcome fear is the greatest adventure of the mind of humanity. It is. I personally have found that it is indeed a great adventure. I want to the couple of things that stood out for me, and if there are things that stood out for you, please use the chat function to share those as part of our conversation. It allows it to be a two-way conversation if you choose, and if you don't, that's cool too. We attract to ourselves the objective form of our subjective embodiments. That's just another way of saying what we believe, our subjective embodiment, shows up in our lives in form, in people, in events, in circumstances, in experiences. And I really, this sentence, limitation is a condensation of the idea of want. Uh, I have found that it is really necessary to differentiate between desire and want in this human experience. Desire is a spiritual desire. It is consciousness seeking to express itself. Want is a belief that it isn't already here. And it sets in motion that very experience, right? Because we can take that sentence back to the very first sentence. We attract what we believe. And if I want it, I believe that it's all not already here. And so I keep what I desire suspended in transit. I keep it suspended in its not here-ness. And that's why spiritual mind treatment is so important. That's why affirmations done in affirming that what we desire is already fully present, fully available, that we work to shift our mental equivalent so that we know that what we are seeking to experience, what we're desiring, is already present. And that changes our vibration to align with the vibration of that desire. It moves consciousness to be operated on by law. And I love the description of the characteristics, the character of law, 100% impersonal. Law isn't, and we tend to personify God. We call it a he, we call it, anytime we personify the infinite, we limit it because we can only imagine the personification of something personified as our understanding of personhood. And the infinite is so much more. And law is simply an activity of this creation, this consciousness expressing. It's energy in the quantum field doing what energy does in the quantum field, which is to simply manifest. And so law doesn't have an agenda. Law doesn't have a thought process. It doesn't have filters. It doesn't second guess. It is simply the fulfillment center. It receives the order, the impress of thought, and manufactures it. And if we would grasp that, then we begin to understand how every thought, every belief, conscious and unconscious, the thoughts we're aware of, the thoughts we're unaware of, the beliefs that are ancient and historical in the collective conditioning of humanity, law is making those manifest. So we get to participate in changing those, changing our thinking, because our thinking is part of the whole. And, it can be confusing to, it's just energy. It's just energy. The quantum field is a term, it's a scientific term that came about with a specific branch of research that is trying to understand how to measure this energy. Right? And loved what Amit Goswami used to say. I had him for 3 quantum physics classes in ministerial school. And Amit Goswami would say right from the get-go of every class, any quantum physicist, any person that tells you they understand quantum physics doesn't even begin to understand quantum physics. So, if quantum physicists are still figuring it out, perhaps it's okay that we don't understand it completely. I think the part that is applicable to living science of mind is the wholeness of one thing. There's one energy, and energy is the potential of action. And our thoughts are not just happening in our isolated minds, in our brains. Thought and experience is happening in the quantum field. Past, present, and future are all happening in a singular moment of now. That's what we're discovering in the quantum field. I can articulate that. Do I fully grasp it? Oh, good heavens, no. But I can begin to imagine it, that everything is happening now, that in the spiritual realm, there is no past, present, or future. There's just now. Right? It's not divided. And so everything that can possibly be desired to express must already exist. And that supports what Holmes brought forward, that, the law can know no condition as such. It knows form, but not size. Outline is real, but limitation is unreal to mind. And so consciousness is unlimited. We limit our experience of it, but consciousness is never limited. In the absolute, nothing depends on anything but ideas, desires to express. Ideas are form, conditions, circumstances, cause and effect, and everything that happens between cause and effect. This is what a treatment is. It is a thing of itself if we know that it is. It is what we know it to be. That reminds me of the times throughout Holmes' writings where he says, the answer to the prayer is the prayer. Because the treatment, spiritual mind treatment, is exactly that. It is treating spiritual mind. Not my mind, not your mind, spiritual mind. Mind in the quantum, if you will, where there's no separation. And we don't beseech any outside power. Treatment simply declares what is. And we do that to change our thinking, because we understand that when thought is clear, it produces the clarity in form and function and experience that we're seeking. And the trick to that is knowing that it's already present. We're not creating it. We're using creation. We're moving consciousness to express itself in this way. So that is what's alive in me this morning. So now let's go into our time of meditation and contemplation. And I invite you to just be present. with what is, to be present with whatever comes up. See what comes alive in you. And then I will close us out with a spiritual mind treatment, and we will go on with our days. Here we go. one power, one energy, one invisible substance, unlimited, unnameable, self-existent, meaning it simply has always been, was not created out of anything else. It simply exists within itself. And being the only substance, the only power, the only, everything must be it expressing in the absoluteness of one, every form, everything that exists around the form, in the form, between the forms, all of it, this one power, this one absolute substance, individualizing itself to experience itself. Whether we call it God, life, power, energy, it is all there is. And it is everywhere present because being the singular substance of all, it could be no other way. So I know that I must be an individualization of it. That I must be a desire within this absolute mind, the absolute consciousness, a desire of spirit, of the quantum, of whatever it is to experience itself as me. And even as I say that, everything inside my human experience just is in awe. And when I understand the wholeness of one, I equally understand that what is true about me is true about each and every expression of life. That the stations we assign are arbitrary. That they have no place, no binding authority in the spiritual realm. Because all created out of the same substance must at the fundamental level be of equal value, made of the same substance. Inseparable from the whole, and so inseparable from everything made out of the whole, by the whole, living within the wholeness of life. Inseparable. Everything, everyone, inextricably connected. Unable to disconnect even if we want to. And it is that thought disconnect that expresses as discontent. That's out of alignment. So I speak my word claiming and affirming the harmonious operation of one. That every thought, every belief, every hidden, collective, ancient belief within humanity of separation is brought to the awareness to be healed. And in its place, consistent acknowledgement, claiming of, and recognition of, celebration of wholeness, of the harmonious operation of one. I affirm it, I claim it, I demand it within the universe. More than an idea, but to move into that experience. One power, everywhere present, every iteration of it, in full recognition of the birthright of the inseparability of the unlimitedness of the eternality. I feel it. I feel its presence right here, right now. So I celebrate. I celebrate that activity of law. It simply receives the work order, the mental impress, the mental equivalent, the desire, moved. It makes it so. So what has been spoken this morning is already done. There's no waiting period in this wholeness. There's no, it will happen in the future. It is done now. And so I celebrate that. And as I celebrate that, I open myself to experience by claiming its completeness. So I say thank you. And I let go. I let go of anything, any doubt, any what ifs. I let it all go. Simply embrace the gift of life, giving to itself, all of itself. I step into this day, eyes, ears, heart, awareness, wide open. The divine yes within to follow, to be. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amen. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.